Let me bring in at this time criminal defense attorney Colleen Kelley. Colleen, thank you so much for joining us here on Court TV. And I have to start with the strategy that I think the state is employing and get you to weigh in, because we know this witness has already testified for the prosecution, but at that time they utilized him to lay the brief foundation to get in the video interrogations with the defendant. Those two came in, and now they've recalled him to go through the attempting to identify the victim in this case. Did they do that purposefully to not distract from those police interrogation videos and kind of let those sit on their own, do you think?
I think that's a definite strategy choice, and one that I think would work when you really want to focus on the statement that the defendant had made. But I also think it might be a strategy choice to bring in this evidence at the end, because it's the last thing that the jury will hear from the prosecution about just how carefully, that's what they're setting up, is just how carefully the evidence regarding the body was processed, just how carefully it was preserved, to also keep the timeline and an explanation for the timeline and why they did things in which order. So I think it's a joint strategy there.
And primacy and recency, to your point, is what the jury's going to remember, so that makes good sense. And I must ask you about the prosecution's performance, so to speak, because this is textbook. I find it very well prepared. It's at a pace so you don't get bored. The jury's listening to the very important details. But to your point, highlighting that they really seemed to dot every I and cross every T during this investigation.
And I'm looking forward to the rest of this testimony, and especially I'm looking forward to the cross-examination. What is the defense going to cross this witness on? What do they think the investigation missed in this case, if anything? And that will come through in the cross-examination. So, for example, were there additional tests that they should have run that would have potentially uncovered evidence? Now, we have someone who is accused of brutally murdering and dismembering his wife. And the story that they're telling is that he was an intelligent man, he was a prosecutor, he knew the procedures, he wiped things down with Clorox wipes or something similar to that, and perhaps that's why there's no evidence where they would expect to see it otherwise. So I can't wait for the defense attorney to see if they found any holes or if they're suggesting that anything was missed.
Yeah, because the defense attorney's been active in this case trying to poke holes, so it will be interesting to see what they have to ask. Stand by if you would, please. Coming up, we'll have more testimony in the dismembered wife murder trial, plus a man accused of raping 2 women before faking his own death and fleeing the country. Court TV's Matt Johnson joins us live for an update on the case against Nicholas Rossi. Next. Still with us, criminal defense attorney Colleen Kelley. Colleen, pretty remarkable that they searched this area between December 2nd, December 7th, and found other parts belonging to Mindy. Tell me your last thoughts about this witness and the prosecution's case, please.
Well, I think it's interesting still what they're trying to pinpoint. They're trying to pinpoint all of the parts of the remains that they found. They're trying to pinpoint the location of those totes. And my only thought is as to why they're trying to do that is because they do have him, I believe, purchasing those totes on video and trying to clear up any thoughts of the jury that maybe they're not associated with the dumping of the remains, frankly.
And I think, too, we had that cell phone expert that testified about multiple cell phones as well as car data, putting him close to, and the defense poked holes and established he could have been by the body parts, but they couldn't definitively say that. Do you think that it's really important for closing to bring all that together, or do you think the jury gets it from the testimony in the last 20 seconds?
I don't think pinpointing his exact location in the exact location of a body part is going to be important for the jury. I think that there's no other explanation from him being there unless he testifies otherwise.
All right, Colleen Kelley, thank you so much for being on with us today. Coming up next, Michael Ayala joining me for more testimony in the dismembered wife murder trial. Stay with us here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.